Всем привет, друзья, с вами Алексей, а мы продолжаем играть в Honkai Star Rail, обновление 3.4. Сюжетная линия, это у нас четвертая уже часть, так что приятного просмотра.
Light up the door. Light up the door. Light up the door.
Oh. Nice moves. We just washed it away and here it comes again. The black tide is really no joke.
Light up the door.
The waters end here. The one you seek is beyond this point.
At last, I can meet with Her Majesty Saridra herself. Are there any formalities I need to observe?
Don't kneel, don't do the hand-kissing or foot-kissing gestures of the old dynasty, and most of all, don't bow. The Imperator despises such rituals, especially when the heads of those taller than her bend beneath her crown.
She really is down to earth.
The second thing to note, only trusted ones may come near her. Keep 5 paces distance until the Imperator allows otherwise.
Sounds like an old friend of mine.
Well, experience is a good thing. Stay sharp, and you'll be just fine. Duck's Goldweaver, little hostage. Apologies for keeping you waiting.
It's you.
You know them? Good. That makes things easier.
Before that, I'm more curious about one thing. Where is Her Majesty Saridra?
To avoid any misunderstandings, nameless Swordmaster. Although we spoke and laughed along the way, I never said you were entitled to meet her. The Imperator decreed, the Deliverer will not appear in this age. Be wary of suspicious individuals. Come now, both of you. Let's finish our job.
I see. It's a trap. I had no intention of fighting. So remember this, Lady Hysealand. If my sword shows any hesitation, don't thank me. Thank them instead.
No, you misunderstand. We don't want to see Chrysoceres hurt each other. Just give us some time to ask you a few questions.
The Nestia's golden threads will judge you and decide your fate.
As you wish.
White-haired swordmaster? If what you say is true, then you must know the fate of the world. So, how much do you know about what we read from the prophecy?
You shall shatter into 1,000 fragments and wither in the soil of foreign lands. Is that correct, Lady Treby?
How is this possible?
He got it right?
Yes, but the prophecy never mentioned he'd appear here. At least, not in this era.
You must listen to me, Aglaya, Treby. The Finan of this world has not yet been born. In a distant future, he will follow the prophecy's guidance and appear before you. But do not seek him out, because Era Nova is a complete and utter lie. I will tell you the truth, and you will understand why the world must forsake the prophecy and find another path to Era Nova. Because I know both of you, and I believe that no matter how the course of history may change, the faith we all share will always remain the same. And so, the layers of rock began to reverse, and history wove itself anew. Through my old acquaintances, I was given the chance to meet the leader of the Flame Chase journey, Saridra. And after a long and arduous negotiation, we came to an agreement. The Imperator's alliance needed the destruction, and I was ready to pour all my strength into it. The spoils of the Flame Chase, the core flames, would be sealed by my hand. But the condition was this. In the upcoming battle, in our conquest of the Earth, I had to prove that my power could transcend fate. In the original history, there was a brutal war. At the end, the Titankin of Georios, Terravox, killed the rampaging Titan and took the core flame that supported the Earth. But this time, Amphorius encountered a turning point in its fate. Neither side suffered any losses. When I severed the Titan's head and raised the core flame high, the crowd gathered around the scorched remains of the god, roaring with joy, cheering for the hero of the destruction, who had ignited the faint spark of life for the first time. Yes, in that flickering light, the once dark path ahead seemed to become clearer. I proved myself, and in the long years that followed, I brought down the other Titans, one by one. I could do more than just wait. When time resets, the chance to change the world also emerges from the lines of history. Until finally, the brutal future revealed by Era Nova is reversed. But tell me, if that's truly the case, why are we doomed to the same outcome? The people kept their promise and handed you all the core flames. In this world after Trebios, no demigods were born in Amphorius. At this point, I just want to know. When they vanished into the black tide with their mortal bodies, why didn't you shed even a single tear? Your indifference chills me. To you, were they just a bunch of insignificant footnotes? Sorrow has been my constant companion. In fact, with 12 core flames upon me, the fire in my heart has never been more violent. I'll remember this world through anger. As long as I burn, they'll never truly leave me. Perhaps it's already too late. But you're right. Anger, at this moment, is the only weapon I can rely on. So, draw your sword, Executioner. I'll make sure you realize that your greatest mistake was leaving me alive. After that, he raised his sword and attacked. Then, Kaslana killed himself. That day, who fell to the sword to be left in the past, and who went into the future, I can't remember anymore. I only remember a nymph, hiding in the shadows just out of sight, futilely pushing a stone ball. Climb, fall, climb, fall, climb again, and fall. The only freedom the nymph had was in choosing how to roll the stone. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes resting on a gentler slope, leaning against the stone for a break. But its choice couldn't change the futility of it all. The stone would always roll back down the slope, and the nymph would always return to the starting point, beginning again. After that, every time I reached this point in the cycle, the burning sky would cast a shadow over its path. It would nearly reach the peak at the 4th quint of curtain fall hour, then fall to the starting point in the first 15 seconds of the next entry hour. And my efforts in this cycle would dissolve into nothing at the same time.
Absolute nonsense.
I thought cycles was the answer you were looking for.
No. It's just that the answer came so suddenly. There was no fun in tracing it back to its roots. Eons? Paths? What a load of nonsense.
I can't give you an exact explanation of those two concepts either.
Enough. I'm just expressing my frustration. Don't you understand? I was already expecting this. The black tide came from beyond the sky. And everything else is no exception.
Fate is a strange thing. No matter how the details of history change, the Anaxa I know always remains as harsh as ever.
If the other Anaxagoras actually worshipped the gods, I'd make sure to find a way to break the cycles and crush them in their cradles. Too bad. Now only you have the ability to do that.
What's that supposed to mean? You're willing to help?
Of course. The core flames were meant to save the world. And in my opinion, the noble Titans have no reason to refuse. Besides, according to you, before stepping into these endless cycles, you were my pupil.
I've already heard the same thing countless times.
Enough chit-chat. Let's go. If we run into any other scholars, leave them to me. We've all made preparations for total annihilation. Never thought someone would step in to help.
Light up the dawn. Light up the dawn. Light up the dawn. Light
You've been to the Luminary Throne before, haven't you?
If you're talking about in past cycles.
You were already much luckier than the other students. Hold up. Keep your wits about you. Someone's watching us.
Pretty boy, your eyesight's better than I thought. As for that false god who's been turning the world upside down, it's you, isn't it, white hair?
You sure do love stealing the spotlight. In the name of the Seven Sages, I demand that you immediately step away from the Luminary Throne. This is the sacred ground of reason, and no one may desecrate it. Take my words back to Aglaya. I won't say the same thing twice, Catgirl.
Oh my! You won't even call me the demigod of trickery. That is just heartbreaking. I have some words for you, too. First, as one of the most heretical blasphemers in the world, you have no right to lecture me. Second, this is none of your business, Grove Boy. Step aside. I don't want anyone getting hurt.
Here we go. Again.
Core flame thieves. You really think you can scare off a sage of the grove with nothing but empty threats?
These gloomy little brats got a sharp tongue. Ooh, not bad, not bad. I kinda like you. As a return favor, please on Cersei's core flame right here.
was close. I'm out of here.
They're exactly like all the past ones I've known. Cunning. And yet so naive.
Sounds like you have a plan.
Of course. When I first set out on the flame chase journey, Lady Treby never managed to teach me Orynyx's miracle. But along the way, I learned a thing or two.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
The Venerationists' foolish inventions finally come in handy.
How is this possible?
You've arrived, Zagreus. Always so punctual.
What? Do you know who I am?
I'm running out of patience. So I'm not going to waste words. Listen up, spirit thief. Hand over the core flame, and let's pretend we never clashed. This way, you and this world can still be saved.
Save? You think better than any bard. If you ask me, you're the greatest disaster Emporius has ever known. No matter how strong you are, you're still just a mortal body. Carrying 12 core flames? Don't make me laugh. You'll just get consumed by the divine flames and drag this world down with you.
134.
What?
This is the 134th cycle I've lived through. And the number of core flames I carry is
1,596.
Yes.
1,000 core flames and just a single Chrysos heir. How is that even possible?
I've come this far. And that's proof enough.
But someday you will burn to the ground.
Of course. The divine flames will eventually consume my eyes and blind me. But before that, they could still forge and sharpen Dawnmaker. Now when I cut open your stomach, you won't feel a thing.
You...
This is the final warning.
Fine. Assume this world holds 100 million possibilities. And no matter how one looks at it, 99,999,999 of them all point to outcomes of certain destruction. Even so, I'll use my divine power, despised by the people of this world, to achieve that 1 in 100 million possibility.
Bartolos!
Brat, if you got the guts, you'll have to first step over my dead body. We can deal with just by
No other choice but forward. Future could come. I'm fine. For tomorrow.
How absurd.
In my memories, Zagreus always meets the same end. Over and over again. Their departure no longer stirs anything in my heart.
This reason core flame before us is a fake. Obvious as day.
I know. I know. It always plays out like this. The spirit thief covers for her, and the trickery demigod escapes with 2 core flames. And then, driven by defiance or hatred, she decides to stand before me once more. Exactly like the countless past hers I've known. Cunning. Yet so naive.
Since you've witnessed the same scene play out countless times, tell me, will you carve the trickery core flame from my chest now?
That depends on your attitude. At least so far, in the cycles where you've asked this question, the endings haven't been so cruel.
Well, thank you for that. But I also believe that this time, you won't catch up to me. No one can catch up to me. I'm no longer running to escape anymore.
Whether you believe me or not, I'll still tell you this. You've made the wrong decision.
All right, then. We'll see.
Silence.
This is new.
One-eyed boy. What are you trying to pull now?
Go, Cythera. Give us some time in private. This isn't for her, but for you. You've walked too far down this path. It's time to discuss a possibility. Maybe the road you're walking is not one of salvation, but one that will simply drag the world into the flames. For old time's sake, turn back. I don't care how many times you've tried, because there's one thing I'm sure of. Your Messiah complex has turned you into something no different from the icy gods you spoke of. The children of humanity you swore to save. They are no more than ants to you now, aren't they?
Of course. I've been wondering, what kind of demon could burn my homeland to the ground in an instant without batting an eye? Now I have the answer. It turns out that fiery demon has been fantasizing of becoming this world's deliverer.
I don't want to argue anymore. No matter what I say, the outcome won't change. Make your biggest effort to resist, or accept fate, and hand over the core flame to me. Even if it's futile, we all have the right to choose.
Yes. Even if it is futile, and the world is just a divine joke.
When I walk into the destruction ridden by the gods, with my own 2 legs, you will witness Even the smallest footnote still leaves a mark in this story.
And so, at the end of the 134th cycle, the traveler and the scholar fulfilled their fates once again. Or perhaps it wasn't just they who fulfilled their fates. I can't quite remember all this. In the endless darkness, for no reason, a voice always lingered by my ear. Losses are a constant on the flame chase journey, among which even life itself holds little value. Reduced to ashes. Such a familiar end. It happens in every journey. Always the same.
You don't look so good, Deliverer.
Even after going through 108,642 cycles. Mighty, your name for me has never changed.
Why do you sound so pleased? It's a derogatory name.
Yeah, I know all too well. You only meant it sincerely in the first cycle. After that one and only time we walked side by side. Every time since. It always ends up like this. Dawnmaker will stab you through your 10th thoracic vertebra. That's your weak spot, and the only way to kill you.
Interesting. Tell me, when the mighty Moses of the past faced you, did they ever retreat?
Never.
Then they died honorably, worthy of the name of strife. But there's still tenderness in your eyes. How pathetic.
I have to remember how this feels. Remember that I was once human. Or else the destruction will completely consume me.
If you win, tell the mighty most of the next life. This person is a worthy opponent. So always remember to give it your all and never slack off.
I'll keep that in mind. As always.
Even though the dynasty is left with just one, the Kremnos festival will continue as usual. I,
the king of the Kremnoan Legion, will host the final feast in the center of this arena, and the prize will be the flames of strife. One day, you shall die with a wound in your back. That's what I saw when I overcame the trial. The gods' dying ramblings. Enough. You've probably heard this thousands of times. So you must understand, facing the demigod of strife means there's no way you'll take this core flame in peace.
I understand.
Step forward and face me in a final battle. I, the last son of Gorgo, the demigod of strife, salute you. I'll give 10,000 scars and 10,000 lives of mine to fuel the blazing sun of deliverance. Martyrs, behold! The last Kremnos festival has begun. And will not end till death.
It's time to temper myself. For tomorrow! I can't let them down.
Conquer this world, or be conquered by me.
As you wish. And in full glory, I salute you.
That's all I ever wanted.
Empty shell. Quench the flames with blood. Is that all? For agony! Shatter the cage! Quench the flames with blood! Is that all? Branded with strife!
If you can deliver. Use the flames of your fury to scorch your own.
So without substance! The flames are not strong enough. Empty shell! Hail the new dawn! Mightimus, let strife decide the outcome. Let this burn.
Well fought. You may crown yourself my blood. In your next life, I shall once again block your path. Deliverer, I wish you eternal victory.
The 108,642nd core flame of strife fell into the fire. Yet the shadows of the black tide still loomed, and pain and despair spread across distant lands. The blaze was still not enough. It had to be fed. Even if it meant burning this body to ash.
No matter how bright the sun is, there are still places it cannot reach. Moreover, the sun you bear is both cold and blinding. A sun like that surely cannot bring warmth to the nether realm of the next life.
Golden blood is born from the destruction. We have long since lost the right to seek warmth. Only by feeding the flames can we melt that hopeless future.
Allow me to ask, how many core flames do you carry now?
24,041,183.
Such a heavy burden. So that's why you've turned into this. A broken idol. Tragic firewood.
No matter. I will bear this burden. As long as you hand over the core flame of death.
I must refuse. As the demigod of death, I cannot watch you walk into a fate more cruel than death.
But this way, the past, present, and future will never again suffer unnecessary death.
Unnecessary death. Indeed, you are not the Finan I know. Please turn back. Don't let that absurd and unjust fate of yours come to pass. This way, at least my realm can still become the fragrant bed where you fall asleep.
In the end, still, it seems the clash of blades was inevitable.
How painful. I know I am not your match, having fallen under your sword countless times. But even so, please understand that my resolve is not to be underestimated. Even Kethely cannot shape all things at will, nor can they dictate the fate of all life. No one can shoulder the balance of life and death alone, not even a god. And it is precisely for this reason that I chose, at the end of this arduous journey, to overcome the trial and take the authority of death. I am the Hand of Shadow, Casterus, the demigod of death. Listen closely, deliverer from days past. Please turn back. Do not disturb these fresh flowers in their muddy deaths. A pity, at this crossroads of life and death, the giant dragon is but a shattered shell. Yet, I will still fight, defending what hope remains.
It's time to temper myself. For tomorrow! I'm fine. transform my soul into a raging fire. Must burn.
All of this. How is it any different from that little future?
So without substance.
I can't keep him here.
So without substance. All stars burn to ash. The sun tear the sky.
Even if I can't win, I must try.
Let this be a tribute to your million struggles. But
Wake up, lost one. See that the firelight in the darkness is not.
the core flame of death was taken from the dragon's belly. What a brilliant flame. It should shine upon all, light the path ahead, and illuminate the dawn of Amphorius that's to come. 2,003,432 cycles. 24,041,184 core flames. As if even the deepest abyss of primordial chaos could be burned away.
You're here, as always.
You're still lingering, deep within me, never fading away.
Because you haven't completely abandoned hope. Am I right? You're still waiting for a miracle, for the true hero to come and save us.
If that thread of hope exists, it must come from beyond this world. From the true starry sky. But if it's just a traveler with no connection to Amphorius, they may not understand our struggles, nor be willing to join this fight.
Your thoughts are wavering. The mark of destruction is deepening. But even within the gods' cold calculations, unconditional courage and goodwill still emerge. So, never forget what set you on this path. How many times has it been? Remind me again. My memory is a bit fuzzy.
4 million. Exactly.
Then that blaze inside of you must be burning hotter than ever.
Yes. When I first forged the 12 core flames into one, I had the same impression. The destruction. A power unlike anything before surged within me. Violent flames ready to tear my body apart and consume this world, this wretched prison. I thought that was it. The ultimate power which nothing could surpass. And yet now, this fragile body holds a staggering 48 million core flames. I suppose it won't be long perhaps just a fleeting 10,000 years before it's reduced to nothing but charred, crumbling bones.
And when that happens, your long struggle will finally come to an end.
No. I've already found a way to keep the cycles going.
Mind sharing it with me?
In every new cycle, a new me is born. All I have to do is push the next finite to the end of the world. And then... then he'll kill me. Shatter this body. Take my flames, my memories, and carry on the path I started.
Bold plan, but risky. What if, one day, the next you refuses to follow the same path? How can you ensure the continuation of the cycles?
If it were Professor Anaxa or Aglaya in my place, maybe they'd come up with something smarter. Unfortunately, I don't have a backup plan. I have no choice but to bet everything on the next finite, and trust that he makes the same choice I did. But even in this wretched prison, luck is still sometimes on my side. Because I never forget what set me on this path.
Wait, you mean...
Ever since I committed to this plan, not once, in millions of cycles, has there ever been an exception.
I can do this, Lord Finan. As the demigod of the sky, a healer of Twilight Courtyard. I will heal you, and then...
A black tide. It's consuming you. You can't hold out much longer, demigod. Hand over the core flame. Let's put an end to this suffering.
Now, that just won't do. A healer should stay composed in front of those suffering from illness. Shouldn't they?
Hyacinthia.
Так, друзья, давайте, наверное, на этом пока закончим. Продолжим уже в следующем выпуске. Спасибо, что посмотрели. Не забываем ставить лайки, подписываться на канал, оставлять свои комментарии. Кто хочет меня поддержать, ссылочка есть в описании. С вами был Алексей. Всем пока.